Gibson in Australia writes to me, Paul, as you are aware, one of the primary challenges facing DSD is its accessibility within the mainstream market. That is true. And it appears that enthusiasts worldwide are taking action to address this issue. Okay? Maybe in a strange way, however. On various audiophile platforms and forums, I've come across persons who are creating unofficial DSD versions of beloved albums. These persons claim to have remastered the albums, crafted new mixes, and ultimately converted them to DSD. Now, personally, I've refrained from downloading these versions due to uncertainties regarding their legal status, but nonetheless, I find the concept intriguing. Let's entertain the idea for a moment. Okay? Suppose a person with ample expertise and access to top-tier equipment, akin to that of Octave Records, were to start simply with the PCM CD quality version of a particular album. Could they truly produce a DSD version superior to the official PCM release? Wow. Well, no, I don't think so. Not in the way that you have described it. And I also doubt whether anybody is able to remix any of these masters. Let's talk about what does it mean to remix something. That's a huge, or to even remaster, and they are different. Remixing suggests that you have the original tapes, or however these were recorded, the original files, and you can go in and turn the trumpet up a little bit and the voice down and the reverb and all that. And that's, I'm going to give you 99.9%. That ain't happening. Ain't nobody letting out their masters. I wouldn't at Octave Records, and I'm sure RCA and Capitol and all those. No, they're not going to do it. So let's take that out of the equation. Nobody's remixing this stuff. I don't care what it is, unless they're a Mobile Fidelity, a company that actually pays the labels. That's different. But people on the internet? No, I don't think so. Remastering, well, yeah, you could change it. So, for example, you could take a CD. Let's take Steely Dan. Let's take Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson's a good one. Michael Jackson's Thriller is one of my favorite albums, and the recording kind of sucks. They took the bass out. It's thin in the bottom end, which is crazy, all right? So theoretically, one could take a pristine recording, the best they have of a CD quality of Michael Jackson's Thriller, and figure out a way to add bass. There are in digital audio, we don't use it at Octave Records, but there are all kinds of plugins and programs and things that add stuff, right? So you could take Thriller and you could, I think it was Quincy Jones playing the bass. I think it's on a keyboard, anyway, whatever it is. And you could find a program that added that bass that's missing in there and make a pretty spectacular sounding record. And if you did it in DSD, you would have something better. But I don't think anybody's remixing, and if they're remastering, they're doing tricks like that. And so better means maybe you've made up for some of the deficiencies of older recordings, and DSD would absolutely be the best way to capture it, because DSD is by far the best recording technology in the world. It's why at Octave Records we use it. It's why I told this story here a few, I'll tell it again because I think it's worth telling. When musicians come into Octave Records, they're used to being in studios, and pretty much every studio out there runs Pro Tools, which is a great program. They run PCM. And commercial studios work really hard at making the best recordings they know how to do. They scrub those recordings clean so that they're, and they sound great. They don't sound real, but they sound great. And at Octave Records, Our goal is always the opposite. I don't only want them to sound great, I want it to sound real. I want it to sound like the musician is right there in the room. And we work really hard at that. And one of the ways we do it is, instead of recording everything like Abbey Road. Abbey Road's going to record, and it's a great studio, not knocking Abbey Road. They've done some great stuff. They're running it at 96 kilohertz. They're running at 192 kilohertz PCM. It's what they do. Capitol Records, all of these studios are doing that. They're running PCM at something below 200 kilohertz, okay? At Octave Records, we record everything at 11 megahertz. Megahertz, million cycles per second, rather than thousands of cycles per second. So these files are massive, and that's DSD. DSD is a hog when it comes to data. So these 11 megahertz files that we record everything on, people haven't heard detail, perfection in the recording like what you get when you record on a Pyramix system, which is what we use, at 11 megahertz in DSD. You just, if you put the best microphones, use some good technique, and record it on that, oh my God, it sounds so amazing. Anyway, so these musicians come in and they listen and they're blown away. They've never heard anything like it. And one musician got upset because it was so real, he felt naked playing his music. He said, this, every wart, every good thing, every bad thing, it's right there in front of you. And we don't clean it up. We don't scrub all that stuff off. No, if anything, we're going to try and magnify it. I want you to be there in the moment. And DSD gives it to us. Our recording techniques give it to us. It's what we have at Octave Records. It's what he's looking for. And it's just a whole different philosophy of creating music. And we do it at PS Audio through our equipment, through our recording. I mean, how many companies, okay, I'm going to say this real quick and then I'm going to get off my soapbox. How many companies out there do everything like we do, from the recording to the loudspeaker to everything in between, including the AC wall socket? There are a few, but not many. And it's one of the things I'm proudest of. After 50 years of doing this, we finally do it all. And it's really fun and it's really gratifying. And I'm so glad you are part of our hi-fi family. Thank you for being here. Okay. End of speech. Get down off that soapbox, boy. I'll talk to you later. Bye.